Lack of engagement probably kills productivity more than anything else. Today on Live on Purpose TV, how to overcome complacency in the workplace. Complacency or lack of engagement, probably one of the biggest production killers in the workplace. Lack of engagement can be caused by a lot of different things. Probably it comes down to one basic factor, and that is that we are humans. And humans operate in very predictable ways. Let's not lose sight of that as we're working with our people. Most of the problems that are reported to me as a professional trainer and presenter are people problems. Problems that come up interpersonally as people try to work with each other. And this is probably the number one cause of the lack of engagement in the workplace. So let's go over 5 quick tips that can help us to overcome complacency in the workplace. First, ownership. Ownership. Let people own their job. One of the most frustrating things for people to experience is when they are given responsibility without the authority. They're responsible to make something happen, but they don't have the power to do it. As an employer or as a manager or as a leader, can you empower people to own their position so that they not only have the responsibility but also the authority to get done what you've asked them to do? If you trust someone enough to not only have them on your team, but to give them a specific assignment, then get out of their way and let them do it. Trust your people to do exactly what you've hired them to do, and empower them to make the choices that are necessary to bring about the results that you want. Now, there's a fear sometimes with managers or with employers that if they actually empower their people to own their tasks, they're going to make a mistake. Well, yeah, hello, we're people. Of course they're going to make a mistake. Mistakes are not bad. In fact, if we can change the company culture around mistakes, it could increase productivity significantly so that people actually are willing to try some things. And yes, they're going to make some mistakes. But what have you learned from your own life? Where do you learn the most in your life? It's from your mistakes. Successes, not so much. But mistakes will teach you a lot. That's true of all of your people too. So what if we instill a company culture around ownership and empowerment so that people actually try some things and get some things done too? That increases engagement significantly. Second, let's talk about connection. People are social animals and they have to be connected to each other. What are some ways that you can get your people connecting more with each other? This, in my mind, comes down to design. Let's talk about that on a couple of different levels. Design might mean, how have you set up the workspace? Do people actually have opportunities to see and connect with each other? Or do we have them working in separated, isolated little pods somewhere? The more engagement and connectivity we can create, the better the energy in the culture of the company. You might think that this leads to distractions too. Well, yeah, it probably will. And I think that there's a trade-off there as we create that culture within our company and get higher levels of engagement. That increases the productivity. So we have to put some parameters and limits around it that allow it to be a productive workspace, but also one where people can actually connect to each other. Connectedness, connectivity. And I'm not talking about the internet. Let's go to number 3, my favorite topic of all time, positivity. How do we create an environment of positivity in the workplace? I had an opportunity recently to hear Steve Wozniak speak. Woz is one of the co-founders of Apple, That's the guy. And he said something that I put in my notes because I thought it was so profound. He said, happiness equals smiles minus frowns. How's that from one of the most brilliant people on the planet? Happiness equals smiles minus frowns. What are we giving our people a reason to smile about? Is it fun to go to work? They're spending most of their day, most of their week, most of their life in this environment. And if we're not having fun, we're doing it wrong. What can you do to increase the positivity of your workplace? This will increase engagement and help to overcome complacency. If you need to bring in a trainer to do this, if you need to hire a speaker, and I know a lot of them, to come in and help your people to have a more positive approach, do it. Invest in your people. Invest in the culture of your company to raise the level of positivity. I promise it's going to bring you dividends. Fourth, purpose. Provide a strong why. As a leader in any organization, it's your responsibility to create the vision and to help people see the why we're doing this in the first place. Having a strong enough why helps us to overcome all of the barriers, and we can figure out the how. Now let's go to our fifth tip today. Acknowledgement. Acknowledgement and gratitude. Remember, we're working with human beings, and really the people that you work with are not that different from you. You know how it feels, right? To be appreciated for what it is that you do. This gives people a sense of importance. And that sense of importance helps to fuel their engagement and their energy to move forward and continue in a productive path. As a leader, it's your responsibility to acknowledge and show gratitude for the powerful contributions that your people make on a daily basis. You can see that all 5 of these tips will help to transform the culture within any organization to be one that's more positive. Can we overcome complacency? Absolutely. Remember, we're working with people. Your people are always more important than problems, and always place values before valuables. These tips will help you to get there. There's always a lot to think about as a leader. There are powerful resources available to you to assist you with your people problems. If you're looking for someone to come in and do a training or to speak to your group, I would be happy to have that conversation with you. You can connect to me, and I'd be happy to have that conversation through some of the links below. I'll talk to you soon.
Her head was down, face locked onto the phone.